James 3:12. Loeb jumps over the ham in the den to try to get to the fire where he'd like to roast a snack for himself and his brothers. Now he's holding figs and grapes, but his brothers want olives instead. They ask him, "Could you replace those figs with olives?" But Loeb doesn't want to lose his figs. He says, "Then where would I get figs? This grapevine won't give me any." Meanwhile, the puddle on the floor from the last story is spreading through the den. Loeb's brothers say, "Yay, we get some water with our snack." But Loeb argues, "That water's too salty. You aren't going to get fresh water from that." James 3:13. Loeb is tired of tripping over the ham. He climbs up on his desk and lays down in exhaustion, leaving the ham to be tripped over by everyone else in the house. He realizes how clever he's been. Aha! Now who's the wise and understanding one? Me! By my conduct, I've shown that I'm the wise and understanding one. Then he realizes that he should stop boasting to himself, because wisdom is not proud. There's an element of true meekness in wisdom. James 3:14. In the hall, Loeb continues his strategy of lying on top of things instead of tripping over the ham. He's now on top of the piano. His brothers are tripping over the ham. Each of them is jealous and wants the piano to himself. In ambition to steal the piano, one of them says, "Get off the piano, Loeb. I've learned to play Ravel's impossible left-hand concerto, and I want to show you." Of course, this boasting is false to the truth that none of Loeb's brothers can play the piano at all. James 3:15. Loeb ducks into the closet to hide from his rough brothers. It's not his favorite place, so it may not have been a very wise decision, but all he can think about right now is how inferior his brothers' choices are. Surely their wisdom is not above his. Meanwhile, the horrible smell of the ham, which has rolled into the closet after him, seems to Loeb to be earthly, unspiritual, and even demonic, as we saw in the toy room. Earthly, unspiritual, and demonic, much like his brother's terrible sense of wisdom. James 3:16. When Loeb emerges from the closet, his brother's jealousy and selfish ambition leads them to lock him in the birdcage. Again. Loeb despairs that their jealousy and selfish ambition has led to this. Meanwhile, in the disorder of this terrible deed, the ham has been knocked through the vile substrate at the bottom of the birdcage. It rolls away and ends up in the basement. Of course, we'll skip the basement one because you've already seen that one, where he's thinking about wisdom. James 3:18. Loeb lies on the kitchen counter and looks at the ham. In the context of food, he thinks it looks like a cornucopia. He can't stop thinking about food, so he starts daydreaming about vegetables and all the nice, peaceful people who plant them and harvest them so that he can eat them. Now, in some ways, this is probably the strangest image in the whole course. We have a pig in a kitchen with a ham. And yet he has no idea. All he's thinking of is righteousness, peace, and cornucopias. A harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. This brings James 3 to an end.